All right, so we're gonna learn how to do some time code. So first, getting this set up, we want to go to, we want to make sure we have two columns for this, and in our second column, we want direct select. For this, we want to hit macros. A lot of this will be doing macros, which is, I don't know, basically just macros are really helpful. We also want to resize it so it's not taking up the entire screen. But yeah, macros are really helpful for using time code, so we're gonna use them a lot. So now that we have our page set up and we have our queue list here, we're going to want to go to merge, go to Josiah, and then timecode playtime. Timecode playtime, very helpful. The only thing we're going to want to merge are these macros over here. Bam. So we drop the macros down. Awesome. And essentially, here are the macros that we're going to be working with. So, when we actually get to them, starting from 1 to about 20, we have the basic macros of changing time code, setting time code, clearing time code, all of this. Basically, the one that we're going to be using the most, we're going to use clear time code once or multiple times, depending on how helpful it is. Sometimes it's kind of unreliable, so we'll get into that. But mainly what we're going to want to do here is use clear time code. Otherwise, we don't use a ton of this except some of the like adding, subtracting. We'll go into that later. The main things we want to really know are enable internal, disable internal, start learning events, stop learning, and then set 0. So there are a bunch of these here. Essentially, there's a copy of the first ones up here, down here. If you have like a second list of queues, we only have a first list, so we only really have to worry about these guys. And then essentially what we want to know about these guys, enable internal starts the internal clock. We don't have to worry about external. Disable internal stops the internal clock. Actually, I can show you. So starts that internal clock, stops the internal clock at the same time. If we want to set it back to 0, we just have to hit set 0 and then it'll go back. Or we can start it again from the beginning. And then also learn events and fingers. Always a problem, fingers are. Start learning events and stop learning events. So what learning events just means it's actually recording every time you hit go or stop or stuff. So that'll be, you want to be careful when you hit that because it will, if you say, for example, are hitting go to record your actual show and then you hit back because you messed something up, it'll record that back as well. So it's, you're going to want like a clean run through, obviously, when you're not messing up cues, because every time you hit back, it'll record. And then say if you record on top of it, like say you've already recorded a bunch of cues, if you record again over that and hit go and go through it, it'll like record 2 times and then it'll be really janky. So be careful with that. But really, you're never going to want to record a cue like over it twice. You're going to want to record once, and then if it messes up, you're going to want to basically close the show file and then reopen it without saving it, so that you can essentially start from scratch and not have to worry about resetting all of the time. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Let's actually do it. So we have our internal here. Basically, we're going to want to hit start learn and then enable internal to start the clock and then press go with our first cue. So in table, go. So you see that we're learning here and we have the clock going. So I'm going to keep pressing go a few times, bump through the cue stack. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll record every time I've hit those buttons. So let's say we want to stop where we're done. We want to hit stop learning events and stop the timer. Cool. So we've recorded some events because we had learning on, and we also have that on the timer. Now if we want to go back to 0.5, we can actually start that again. So we'll enable the clock again, and then you'll see here we'll bump through those same cues that we just bumped through before, and it records exactly when I've hit them before. But problem is we can't actually see what those times are, which should be over here in external links. So the way we're going to do that, and actually you can see it already bumped through all these, so we'll stop the timer again. The way we actually see those times is we'll go back, let me go back here, is we have to go back to that clear time code. So clear time code, theoretically, once we click it, will show us those times, and we want to do that on our first cue so that it doesn't mess with any of the cues, because this is showing exactly when you hit those cues on the timer. So theoretically, you should be able to clear them here as well. I messed up before and it just wouldn't clear them, but it does now. For some reason on this file, it actually does as I want it to. So that's what we can do to clear those time codes. You're not gonna want to do that with these queues. I did them just to see if it would work, but you are gonna want to, for your first queue that you set it to 0. Let me see if I can actually get it. Okay, I could have done this in a different order, but I did not. Essentially, when we start going for the queues, you're not going to press go exactly at the start of it, so you can hit -1 sec here to basically take a second off of it. So say 1.2 is your first queue, you can hit -1 sec a few times to get it all the way down to 0, and then it'll essentially start the show at 0. So when you hit the start internal time over here, it'll start immediately with that. So it's helpful to have your first queue, whatever you go into, have that 0, so it starts at the very beginning. I went through this kind of quick, but if you have any questions, let me know, or let Sean know. I was like, oh, maybe this will be educational and other people will see it, not just Anna, but if it is, I don't know, we'll see. Probably not, but maybe Sean will be like, hey. Anyways, yeah, definitely ask questions, play around with this. I have a little play file in here that you can just play with. Just called Timecode Playtime, I think. But yeah, check that out. Let me know if you have questions, and have a good one. Good luck with finishing your project. Good luck on finals week. Good luck on everything. Bye.